Your life comes down to your decisions, and if you change your decisions, you will change everything. In the scheme of life, hitting the snooze button is not that big of a deal. But here's the thing about life. None of us wake up and say, today is the day I destroy my life. What we do is we kind of check out because it feels overwhelming, or we check out because we're afraid, or we check out because we start listening to self-doubt, and then we make these teeny tiny decisions all day long. We don't even realize it. Decision to not get up on time, a decision to not eat the right thing, a decision to snap at your kids, a decision to not speak in a meeting, a decision to not look for a job, a decision to not deal with your finances, a decision to not call your parents, like whatever it is. All day long, these tiny decisions that take you so far off track. And then you wake up like I did and you look at your life and you think, how the hell did I get here? And more importantly, how do I get back over there? And you have no idea. Every one of us is one Google search away from a list of instructions that if you follow any of them, it will change your life. But how do you get out of your head and stop thinking about what you need to do and actually do it?
Want to be happy? Build a life, not just a business. Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know you've got something more inside you. You've got Michael Jordan level genius at something. So today, let's live your best belief life and learn the 8 steps to destroy your laziness. Enjoy.
Have you ever had one of those nights, probably before you started your company, but where you go in bed and you're like, all right, Tom, that's it. Tomorrow, it's the new me. Tomorrow, I'm gonna get up on time. I am gonna go to the gym. I am gonna look for a job. I'm not gonna drink so much. It's gonna be amazing. The new me, the future me. Woo, let's do this, right? Then you go to bed. And you wake up 7 hours later and you're like, I don't feel like the new me. It's the only, that's a stupid, see, motivation's garbage. It's never there when you need it. Ever, 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 ever. And so here's what happened to me. One night, Chris had gone to bed. I'd been struggling. We still had all the same problems. We still had a lien on the house, still facing bankruptcy, still fighting like crazy. I was still unemployed. They still hadn't figured out like the solution yet for the business. And I was about to turn off the TV, and there on the TV, there was this rocket launching, and I thought, oh my gosh, that is it. I am gonna launch myself out of bed like a rocket ship, like NASA, right here, had launched me out of that bed. And I'm gonna move so fast that I don't think. I'm gonna beat my brain. Now, here's a really interesting point. I talk a lot about your instincts and inner wisdom. And we can get into this a little bit later, but a lot of us talk about the fact that you have a gut feeling. But what all this research that I've done for the book and all the speaking that I do, what I've discovered that's fascinating is actually when you set goals, when you have an intention on something that you want to change about your life, your brain helps you. What it does is it opens up a checklist. And then your brain goes to work trying to remind you of that intention that you set. And it's really important to develop the skill, and I say that word purposefully, the skill of knowing how to hear that inner wisdom and that intention kicking in and leaning into it quickly. So for me, my brain saying, that's it, right there, move as fast as a rocket, Mel. I wanted to change my life. And I think most people that are miserable or that are really like dying to be great and dying to have more, we want to change. We want to live a better life. We want to create more for our families. We want to be happier. The desire is there. Again, it's about how do you go from knowledge to action. So the first thing in this story that's important is realizing that the answer was in me. And my mind was telling me, pay attention. Could have also been the bourbon. I had a couple of Manhattans that night. But anyway, the next morning, the alarm goes off, and I pretended NASA was there. It's the stupidest story. I literally went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I counted out loud, and then I stood up. And I'll never forget standing there in my bedroom. It was dark. It was cold. It was winter in Boston. And for the first time in 3 months, I had beaten my habit of hitting the snooze button. I couldn't believe it. And I thought, wait a minute. counting backwards, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Well, the next morning I used it again and it worked. The next morning I used it again and it worked. The next morning I used it again and it worked. And then I started to notice something really interesting. There were moments all day long, just like that 5-second moment in bed, where I knew, knowledge, what I should do. And if I didn't move within 5 seconds, my brain would step in and talk me out of it. Every human being has a 5-second window, might even be shorter for you. You have about a 5-second window in which you can move from idea to action before your brain kicks into full gear and sabotages any change in behavior. When you understand the power of a 5-second decision, and you understand that you always have a choice to go from autopilot to decision maker, everything in your life will change. You will be a different negotiator. You will be different in sales. You will be unstoppable in the gym because you will realize the amount of garbage that you put in the way of your hopes, of your dreams, of your potential, of your confidence, of your courage. Everything comes down to the decisions that you make. We all know what to do. None of us know how to make ourselves do it. So I started researching it. Why does something so stupid work? Why? Why does something so silly create such powerful and profound change? Well, here's why. The rule is a form of metacognition. Metacognition is a fancy pants term that means something real simple. You can outsmart your own brain in furtherance of goals.
Agreed.
There are tricks that you can use that actually outsmart the tricks your brain plays on you in furtherance of a higher purpose. We all know this. You can restrain yourself if you're in a situation that calls for it. You can jump into a raging river to save your dog or your kid. You can direct yourself in ways if it's important to you. And so the rule, what it does is it does something really remarkable. When you count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, what you're actually doing is you're interrupting what researchers call habit loops that get encoded as closed loop patterns in your basal ganglia. That's the part of the brain where your feelings, where your emotions, every habit that you have, which is nothing more than behavior that you repeat that you don't even think about.
I've heard it referred to as a gearbox.
Yeah.
To shift your attention from
Yes.
one to another.
And so when you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it interrupts what's going on here that's spinning without you thinking, and it moves and awakens your prefrontal cortex. So when you hit 1, your habit has been interrupted. So you've interrupted self-doubt. You've interrupted maybe snapping at your kids. You've interrupted the desire to grab for a drink. You've interrupted procrastination. You've also, by counting backwards, done an action. It's awakened your prefrontal cortex. That is the part of the brain that you need that's awake when you're changing behavior, when you're learning new things. When you hit 1, it's also a prompt. So in the language of research, you'll hear people talk about starting rituals. That is something that's proven to help you learn a new habit. The 5-second rule, when you repeat it, becomes a starting ritual that triggers you to act with confidence, that triggers you that this is a moment for courage, that triggers you to shift gears. And because you've also done the manual work of awakening the part of the brain that you need to change, you've set yourself up for success. It doesn't work if you count up, because you can keep going. And also counting up doesn't require focus. If you count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it, again, awakens the prefrontal cortex and it prompts you to move. When you start to use it and then you read about it, you'll see that it's being used all over the place. They use it in the armed services in order to align troops and get them to start an exercise. They use it at elementary schools, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, at big assemblies to get a huge room full of kids to stop talking.
Really simple and interesting example, yeah.
Because it requires you to focus. It's not a habit. It will become a habit that prompts you to have confidence and courage. But in the beginning, it interrupts patterns of behavior that you do on autopilot. It helps you assert control, and it teaches you how to become the kind of person that moves from thinking about something to actually doing it.
Step number 2 is understand the enemy with Rory Vaden.
The number one enemy, I think, that is working against people that they don't even realize is procrastination.
Okay.
Why do we procrastinate?
So there's a number of reasons. There's a number of reasons why we procrastinate. The number one reason, according to psychologists, why we procrastinate is because of self-criticism.
Really?
It's thinking that I won't be good enough, that I'm not smart enough, I'm not capable, so why should I even bother? Like, or this isn't going to work out for me. And there's a lot of extraordinary pressure with that. But there's 3 types of procrastination
Yep.
that and most of us are aware only of the first type. So classic procrastination is consciously delaying what we know we should be doing. Right, so I have some bills on the counter. I know I should pay them, but I'm tired and I'm exhausted. Right,
Yeah.
so rather than paying the bills, I'm gonna like Netflix and chill and like not pay my bills.
So that's the first type of procrastination.
Okay, the second
which
one-
is
Classic procrastination.
classic procrastination.
Yeah. The second one is actually one I identified in my own life back when we were doing the research for this, which is funny because, when Take the Stairs came out, suddenly I'm supposed to be like one of the world's experts or whatever on procrastination. And here I struggle with procrastination in my own life. So rather than calling myself a procrastinator, I invented this new term, which I really love because it not only does it more aptly describe what I struggle with, it also sounds very like academic and sophisticated. And so the term that we coined is creative avoidance.
Okay.
And creative avoidance is different. And this is something that people do as an art form. Creative avoidance is subconsciously creating things for yourself to do so that you can do those things as a means of feeling productive, but really it's a giant scheme for avoiding doing the things you know you should be doing, even when you don't feel like doing them.
For example, for you, what's a creative avoidance?
I mean, email is probably the ultimate perpetrator of creative avoidance, right? It's just like
I know I need to do this other thing. I know I need to work on my book. Or I know I need to create this process for my business. Or
sales calls.
Yes.
You gotta deal with a negative customer service issue. You have to confront an underperforming employee. I mean,
I know I got to go to the dentist and clean my teeth.
Yeah.
The things that you know you need to do, but you want to avoid because it's painful or it's frustrating or it's going to take energy and time.
And we blow it out and we make it way worse in our mind than it actually is. But you can. It's wild how we do this, and this is where some of the neuroscience comes in because your brain is actually working against you here in that if you look at a brain like under brain scan. The brain loves to complete things. There's a hit of dopamine, which is the chemical, that's released into your body, which makes you feel pleasure when you complete things. So when you check things off, like you delete an email or you by the way, you struggle with this if you've ever completed something that wasn't on your to-do list and then you add it to the to-do list just so you can cross it off.
Yeah.
Why? Because the brain releases and says, "Oh, I feel good. I'm accomplishing things."
Right.
But really, what we're doing is we're allowing ourselves to engage in the trivial. In the absence of clear intention, we become strangely loyal and addicted to meaningless acts of trivia because the brain is rewarding that behavior. People are literally addicted to email or cleaning
Social
out their
media,
text or their DMs or social media. They're addicted to it the way you would be addicted to a substance. You're tied to this chemical reaction. But ultra performers, the people we study, these people we profile, these top 1%ers, they do things differently, and they have realized that success and greatness is not related to the volume of tasks that you complete, but simply the significance of them. And ultra performers are able to get themselves to do the things they know they should be doing, even when they don't feel.
How do they get themselves to do that?
So there's seven things, and we can rip through them. But the metaphor here is take the stairs. Okay, so that's the title of the book comes from Take the Stairs, which is a metaphor for we live in an escalator mentality world. It's easier to gravitate towards the path of least resistance, towards what is convenient, towards what is comfortable. This is an escalator, and yet the truth of success in any endeavor, any industry, like all the people that you've interviewed here, it's always the same story. It's that they were able to get themselves to do things they know they should be doing, even when they don't feel like doing them, i.e. take the stairs. So what we're trying to do is take the stairs. It's discipline. Discipline is the antidote to procrastination.
Yes.
And there's 7 key strategies that we can talk through, but understanding that the enemy is procrastination and these 3 types, which we haven't covered the third one yet, but procrastination is always there. And in fact, so the third type of procrastination is called priority dilution. And this is fascinating to study. Priority dilution is the chronic overachiever's form of procrastination. What's different about it is, unlike the first 2, so classic procrastination and creative avoidance, priority dilution is not about being lazy or disengaged or distracted, but it is the same net result of the first 2, which is that you leave the office or you end your day with your most significant priorities incomplete, not because you're lazy, but because you allowed your attention to shift to less significant, but perhaps more urgent tasks. Charles Hummel once wrote an essay called The Tyranny of the Urgent, I believe it was in 1969, and he's talking about how we are victims to the tyranny of the urgent, and the more successful you become, the more you become a leader, the higher you accelerate in an organization, your enterprise grows as an entrepreneur, you've got more and more people vying for your attention, the bigger your personal brand grows, you've got more and more opportunities, more distractions, more things coming at you, and your priorities, if left unchecked, naturally dilute.
Right. So you gotta, okay, so priority dilution.
So that's the third type of procrastination.
Yes.
So, the question is, all right, if procrastination is problem, what's the solution?
Right.
And I really believe the solution can be boiled down to one word. And it's a word that nobody likes. It's discipline.
Yeah.
And it's not hard work. There's a difference. There's a distinction. Discipline is doing the things you know you should be doing, even when you don't feel like doing them. If you can develop the ability to do that, then you literally have unlocked the ability to do anything in life, which unlocks the ability to achieve virtually anything.
Step number 3 is use laziness to your advantage with Gary Vaynerchuk.
I actually don't spend a lot of time on laziness, right? Actually, if you think about it, I don't talk about it, right?
You mean in your content?
Yeah. By the way, my content is a manifestation of what's in my mind. So not even in my own mind. When I hear that, I appreciate why you say it, but it's so funny. It's funny how that just went through my mind. I actually think being lazy is a good thing. Let me explain. This is gonna be an interesting moment. Yeah, no, you're freaking out, right?
Well, I was gonna say, isn't like stop watching Netflix kind of like related to laziness?
Stop watching Netflix is under the context of stop using something to escape your real life if you don't realize you're trying to escape your real life. Don't use Netflix or watching the New York, let's get very much into clarification on this episode. I watch the Jets for 4 hours on Sundays. I do that because it allows me to escape and it gives me balance to my insanity, but I don't watch the Jets on Sunday to get away from the fact that I hate my job, and instead of doing something for my job, I'm gonna use this because Netflix is a 7-day-a-week thing. 2K and Fortnite is a 7-day-a-week thing. And even sports, people that watch the Yankees and the Mets and the Knicks and the Jets the way I watch the Jets, that's why football worked for me, 1 day a week. Some people use entertainment as a reset and a balance to their other life, which is work, family. And then other people use escapism as a way to just get by because they hate their life and it's the way for them not to have to think about it. Right? Laziness has my attention because I think if you're lazy, you're actually giving yourself an indication that you don't like it. So I think laziness
That you don't like what?
Whatever the task at hand. For you, you just Jimmy, you'll appreciate this, and I think you can see it in Trash Talk. I mean, D-Rock will tell you, who hangs out with me a lot, that between Trash Talk and the baseball card show in Chicago, he's never seen me happier. I get an incredible thrill, deep, inherent happiness from getting into a car on a 6 a.m. on a Saturday and going to find something to buy for $3 and sell for $100. This is not about the cliche shit that people say in my comments of like, you didn't make that much money, it was the gas. You know, it's not all those things. I love it. School, I hate it. I am lazy around housework, around logistics. I think quote unquote laziness can have a more thoughtful conversation of actually, is it laziness or are you showing yourself that you don't like that thing and it becomes a mechanism to self-awareness?
I think it's that. I think it's
me
that
too.
that you don't like that thing, I think.
Me too.
Yeah.
I don't think you're lazy.
And I think a little bit of the
You're not lazy.
I think a
You're
little.
I apologize, but I want to give you a compliment.
Yeah.
You're driving around hardcore grinding, lifting. You're not lazy. You just don't get the same thrill or enjoyment.
And I think a little bit of it is.
What it is, D-Rock, is I think we need to stop apologizing for being lazy, all of us, which is probably subconsciously why I don't talk about it. And we need to use it as an indicator of I don't like that thing, this job, this relationship, this school, this startup, and then use it as a starting point to try something else on the side that eventually can become your thing.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Step number 4 is get busy with Grant Cardone.
If you know what day it is, you are not busy enough. I recently heard this week, oh, it's Monday, man. It's so hard to get started on a Monday. I'm like, dude, how do you even know it's Monday? I don't know what day it is. On Wednesday, we hear it's humpback day. We're halfway there. So it's Friday and it's like, oh, thank God it's Friday, or follow Friday, or like, dude, how do you people know what day it is? You're not busy enough. You need to be so freaking busy that you don't know what time it is. You don't know if it's before lunch, before dinner, after dinner. Come on, you've had those productive days. Remember the day when you were so productive, you literally worked through lunch and dinner, and you looked up at 7 o'clock. You should have been home an hour ago, and you're like, dude, I hadn't had lunch or dinner. You know why? Because that day you were eating the marketplace. You were consuming the marketplace because you were active, productive, hitting it, slamming, creative, and completely committed. Look, that's where you need to be today. If you don't like your financial position in life, you need to get so busy, okay, so consumed, so obsessed with activity that you don't know about the celebrities that are getting a divorce. You don't have time for O'Reilly and his bad news. You don't have time for Anderson Cooper coming out telling everybody he's gay. Like, who cares, man? Okay, why? I don't care. Anderson, I don't care. You know why? Not because I'm a gay basher. Not because I'm not sensitive. Because I'm too damn busy, dude. Look, I don't know what Monday, Wednesday, or Friday are. I don't know about Saturdays and Sundays. I know this. Create tremendous amounts of activity. So much activity that you lose track of time. Your success is not going to come from watching TV or looking at a calendar. Your success is going to come from activity, from being busy, from being obsessed, from being like so into it that you don't know about, oh my gosh, it's the Monday morning blues, or Wednesday humpback, or Friday what? I don't know, Friday what? Whatever, okay? Get busy.
Step number 5 is optimize for fulfillment and joy with Tom Bilyeu.
I'm currently working on 3 awesome projects. Right now, I'm struggling with shifting from one to the next. My urge is to work until I drop and then crash. My world and health start to fall apart when I do that. Any suggestions on steps that I can take to manage my hectic workload? Okay, so first of all, you're gonna need some rules. So we don't wanna work until we crash. That doesn't make sense. So we're gonna take that off the table because that's like running a marathon and saying, I'm going to run the first mile at a 4-minute mile pace, and then whatever, the rest will take care of itself. That doesn't make any sense. You're going to end up burning out, and odds are that you're not going to end up finishing. So you want to be very thoughtful about, okay, I've got this big project. It's going to take, most projects take a very long time. The shorter projects merely are feeding into a bigger project. So assuming that this is going to take weeks, months, or years, it doesn't make sense for us to just go, ignore all the signs that we're reaching a tipping point, go, oh God, crash and burn, right? So we need to understand, what are the signs? Is it that you stop having fun? Is it that you start losing sleep? Is it that you no longer want to eat? What are the signs of the early overstressed, where we're now going into a point where it's not stress that like keeps us in the fight and going, it's beginning to deteriorate us. Okay, when we get that signal, and maybe we measure it in hours per week, in fact, that might be a very easy way for you to tackle it. Like, I know that for me, 93 hours a week is a rate that I can sustain for the rest of my productive life. I don't know if that's 40 years, 50 years, whatever. But I've been doing it now for 20 years. It's very easy for me to hit that pace when I'm doing it towards something that I love and care about. Okay, so if I know, hey, I'm working 100 hours, 110 hours, I know I have a problem. I know I'm now in sprint territory, and I know that I need to be consciously working to dial that back, because working that much is going to be deleterious to my health, which means it will be deleterious to my cognition, which means now, instead of working 93 hours and getting 93 hours of productivity, I'm working 110 hours and I might be getting 70 hours of productivity. That is a very bad trade. So you want to be super thoughtful about just the realities of your cognition and what's happening on a biological level when you make those kind of choices to just push yourself beyond reason. So I would start making, rules. Is like Lisa has rules about what time she stops during the day. So unlike me, who, if I'm awake, I'm either working or working out Monday through Friday, Lisa has earlier times that she's going to quit. Now, she still works an obscene amount, but she knows if she doesn't quit a few hours before going to bed, she's going to have trouble sleeping. So then remember, doing less is always an option. Now, I'm the go hardcore, the push guy. I love hustle porn, all of that. But I'm telling you, nothing matters more than fulfillment and joy. And if you're burning yourself out and you're stressed and you're crashing, that's not joyful. There's no fun to be had. Way better to back off. Remember that doing less is always an option. Meaning you shouldn't feel bad if you're doing it less. You shouldn't be beating yourself up or kicking yourself. Just be honest. I'm doing less and I'm doing it for this reason. And as long as you're being honest with yourself, hey, I'm doing less because I don't want to crash and burn, which wouldn't make any sense because the punchline of life is not success, it's joy and fulfillment. That really is success. So once you really wrap your head around that, then it should become very easy to feel good about yourself when you're sincerely moving towards your goal, but being respectful of enjoying the ride. Since getting there cannot be guaranteed, but the struggle is guaranteed, what we're trying to optimize for is struggling well. And part of struggling well is knowing when to back off. So check yourself. If you think that you might be not pushing hard because you're just being a little lazy, you want to procrastinate, you're going to have to be honest with yourself about that. But once you recognize the difference between, you know what, I just need the day off, I'm feeling burned out, and I'm just lazy and I don't want to work any days. Like, as you begin to figure that out within yourself, then you'll get to a point where you'll completely trust yourself. When you know what, today I need to go easy, because you leave it all out on the field on all the other days, it's very easy to let yourself off the hook. So earn your credibility with yourself, do what you say you're going to do, prioritize for fulfillment and joy, not for hours worked, not for hustle porn, none of that. Optimize for fulfillment and joy.
Step number 6 is control your time with Ed Milet.
Let me tell you one thing I've noticed about all the max out performers that I've interviewed on my program and that I've known throughout my life for the last 30 years really in business, sports, entertainment, politics, you name it. The elite performers look at time and use time completely differently than the people who perform at an average level. And so I want to talk to you about some tips and strategies today to begin to think about time and utilize time differently. So let's start out. The first thing I want to tell you about people who win, who max out, they are in a much bigger hurry than the people who are average. And I'm not kidding you when I say this. They're in a bigger hurry to get to their destination, to get to their outcome. Their pace is faster. They walk faster, they talk faster, and their expectation when they're going to arrive at their destination is sooner. This may seem like a very small, subtle thing, but I want you to evaluate how big of a hurry are you in? Because there's something to be said about how close you think you are to a goal and how fast you will run to get to the finish line. Let me give you an example of that. If you and I started out right now and we had a 26-mile marathon to run, right? In our minds, it was 26 miles. And we were gonna race each other. We would pace ourselves at a certain speed in order to maintain that speed because of the duration of the run. So if it was a marathon, we'd jog, wouldn't we, pretty slowly. You certainly wouldn't sprint 26 miles. And so because the destination, because the finish line is so far away, our pace or our hurry is limited based on how far away we think we are or when we'll arrive there. But if you and I were to run a 100-yard dash, would the pace be the same? Because the finish line is so much closer, we'd run full speed from the minute we took off, wouldn't we? Because of the proximity of how close the finish line is. The people that win in life don't necessarily have more vision than you. See, it's not a lack of vision always that means that you are going to lose. It's a lack of a type of vision, which is depth perception. You think you're further away from the outcome, and so you pace yourself like it, and you jog all the time throughout your life. The people that win may have a bigger vision, but they have accurate depth perception. They understand how close their goals are, how close their outcome is, and they're constantly in a sprint to get there throughout their day. That means consequently, they get started earlier and they finish later. They get up earlier. Throughout the day, they're in a bigger hurry to get to the places they need to be because the finish line in their mind is so much closer. I cannot emphasize this enough to you, is just the pace and the way time shrinks for elite performers compared to the average. I'm telling you, the average performer can say the same things, read the same books, have the same schedule, yet the person who is in a bigger hurry throughout the day ends up winning the day, winning the week, winning the month, winning the year, and winning the life. And so please evaluate your pace. You should be in a so much bigger hurry than everybody around you. You almost have people telling you to slow down a little bit. So that's number one, is you've got to be in a bigger hurry. The second thing is the way we begin our day. I'm going to tell you right now, either you're going to control your time or your time's going to control you. Either you are going to dictate the terms of your life or you're going to be somebody who reacts and responds throughout their life. This device right here can both speed up time in your life or it can slow it down. It's not always a speed tool. So one of the tips that I've covered before, but not enough people implement, that I promise you is a quality of max out performers that relates to their time, is they control it. They do not react and respond. They dictate the terms of their life most of the time. And that means this: when you wake up in the morning, the greatest thing you could do for yourself is not touch or look at this device for 30 minutes to an hour after awakening. So that when you wake up, you take control of your time. You control the time. You control the beginning of the day. You get clear, you meditate, you pray, you stretch, you think, you go through a gratitude exercise. You control the first 30 minutes of your day. It sets a tone that I'm in charge of my time, not what enters this. If the first thing you do is grab this now dictates the term of your day. This controls my day. What hits this, what email, what text, what call hits this, what Instagram post hit this, this controls me. It controls my time. But if you can stay away from it for the first 30 minutes to an hour, you send a message to your brain, to yourself, that you control time, that this day is on your terms. And again, you stack up a day, a week, a month, a year, 5 years of a lifetime of you controlling and dictating the terms of your life for just the first 30 minutes to an hour every day. It will revolutionize your life. It'll be very difficult to do for the first 30 days, but after 30 days, you'll never have the desire to do it again. You'll completely flip your life around. I'm not suggesting that all max out performers dictate every term. Of course I respond. Of course I react throughout my day. It's not the syntax or context of my day. I control my day. There are things throughout every day where we react and respond. There are conversations where someone says something to us. We clearly react and respond. But I'm the assessor of my life, not the assessee. I assess my life. I dictate the terms of my life. I'm not being assessed and I'm not being dictated to by other people all the time in my life. That's a huge separator in how people look at time for max out performers. The third thing is this: why is a day only 24 hours? I mean, if the average people in the world, or the majority of people in the world, have a 24-hour day, why does that have to apply to you? Many years ago, I discovered, have you ever had a day where in 4 or 5 hours, you got more in the first 4 or 5 hours done or accomplished in your day than you had in a normal day? You ever have a 4 or 5 hour window, a 6 hour window like that? You go, I've got so much done in these 6 hours, it's more than I get done in an average day. And what I found out was max out elite performers, people that perform at the highest level, they get more done in a 6 hour window than most people get done in a day. And here's why. Most people measure a day by 24 hours. So I started to think. I was young in business. I was in my early 20s. And one of the things that was held against me by other people is you're too young to win. You don't have enough experience. You just haven't have enough days of experience of your life, enough days in business to win. And I thought, well, how can I fix that? And here's how you can fix that. And I've adopted this now for almost 30 years. I want the average people I compete against to think they have a 24-hour day. My days are 6 days long. So I want to teach you the concept of running mini days. My first day is from 6 a.m. to noon every day. That's a full day for me. So I try to get done a full day's work from 6 a.m. to noon because I no longer have a 24-hour day in my life. I have a 6-hour day. And so a day to me is that measure of time. It altered the complete direction of my life. It transformed who I am. So now from 6 a.m. to noon is a day. That's my first day. Every single week, 6 a.m. to noon, Monday morning. And what happens in that 6 a.m. to noon, there's a mental thing we have. I have a whole day to get all these things done. And so we stack and dictate and schedule our day over that 24-hour window of time. You'd be surprised if you shrunk the day to 6 hours, you can get the same things done in those 6 hours you used to get done in 24. From noon to 6 p.m. is my second day. And in that second day, I fill that up with a full day's worth of fun, memories, meetings, phone calls, you name it, meetings with my relationships in my life. In that 6-hour day, I pack out another day. From noon to 6 p.m., I fill that day up. And my third day is 6 p.m. to midnight. And in that 6 p.m. to midnight, same thing. My relationships, my meetings, my phone calls, my emails, the work I do is a third day. And so what happened was when I was in my early 20s, I went from having 3 days in the same window of time when the average person had 1. And I started to accomplish triple what the average person was accomplishing. Now, once again, you stack up 3 days in 24 hours over a week, a month, a year. In just 1 year, I end up with over 1,000 days, and I'm competing against people who only have 365. Think about the mind-blowing difference could be in your life if you ran mini days the rest of your life. I'm telling you right now that my days are 6 hours long. The amount of work you could get done, the amount of compounding that'll take place in your life, it's gonna blow your mind. When you start looking at your schedule, day 1 is 6 a.m. to noon. Day 2 is noon to 6 p.m. Day 3 is 6 p.m. to midnight. Your whole existence is going to change. And it'll be kind of fun in the beginning. You'll mess it up, but you stack up a week or 2 and you do that for a month. Imagine that in 1 month getting 90 days. Think about what would happen in your life if in a month you had 90 days and the rest of the world, the average in your life, imagine that for a second. The rest of the world only had 30. And you stack that up over a year or 3 years. How different would your life be? And I'm telling you, I'm an example of how different your life would be. I'm an example of what that productivity and compounding in your life can look like. More fun, more memories, more meetings, more encounters, more relationships, more experiences, more money, more achievement, more joy, more bliss. I'm creating opportunities constantly. So what I do is I shrink the finish line. So there's sprints all the time. And so because I only have a 6-hour day, I'm in a hurry throughout that day. I'm not jogging. I'm not walking. I'm in a big hurry. And you're going to be amazed at the transformation of your life. I may never give you a bigger gift than the concept of 6-hour days.
Step number 7 is prioritize like a genius with Brendan Burchard.
Let's talk about how you prioritize things in your life, how you prioritize your tasks, your activities, your responsibilities, your obligations, your days. Because, you know, it's kind of difficult these days to prioritize anything because there's so many people coming at you from left and right with their notices, their messages, their texts, their voice messages, their emails, begging for your time, for your attention, for your energy. And most people, I hope this is not you, just give that away so freely. You give all of your attention to everybody else and to all the world's false emergencies and to all the world's needs and all the messages and the texts and the timelines, and all of a sudden, your day is gone and you've had no sense of peace or progress or vitality. I hope that's not you. But if you are finding your days feeling a little frustrating, usually it comes back at some point to how you are prioritizing things during those days. Makes sense, right? So how have you been doing in this department? I mean, really think about it. Do you feel like your day's agenda has been your agenda, or is it somebody else's? Or do you even get to shape your agenda? Do you just wake up and respond to everybody all day, and that's your priority, is just responding to everybody all day? Now, if you're in customer service and that's your job, rock on, good job, keep doing that. But if it's not your job to do nothing but respond to customers all day, then we've got to have a higher conversation now and get you back in control of what your day is about. And the only way to do that is to teach you some new ways to think about your prioritization. Now, you guys know I have lots of online courses on these types of topics, from the Achievement Accelerator to the Success Accelerator to High Performance Academy and High Performance Academy Master's Course. Lots of deep dive training on this. So in this video, all I'm gonna try to do for you is just give you 3 simple takeaways, 3 new ideas, maybe a reframe of how to think about how you prioritize things. And if we do a good job there, I think you'll find tomorrow, next week, next month, and the rest of this year, you'll be on fire. You'll be back on path. Now, the first idea I have for you is stop prioritizing easy. Stop prioritizing easy. A lot of people, when they look at their to-do list of the day, they just start working towards the easy things, knocking off the easy things. They think that's gonna get me some momentum, it'll get me into the day, I'll feel like I'm succeeding. And the reality is it's making them less likely to actually do the things that count. And how do you know this? How do you know if you're guilty of that? You know it if your day feels like there's a lot of busy work, but there's an absence of your life's work. You know what I mean? If you don't feel like your activities during the day are really creating to your vitality, to the contributions you want to make with the world, to doing activities and tasks that you really enjoy, whose fault is that? Is it the man's? Is it the government's? No, it's like you're setting up your day. You can choose what to do with it. Maybe you need to look at doing things that would support you, your health, your vibrancy, your joy, your real growth and contribution in a more significant way. If you feel like there's always busy work, but it's not your life's work, you probably prioritize things at a larger level, maybe incorrectly for you. Now, I don't know this. I can't gauge it. I mean, I'm just talking you through here now as I look and as you listen to me. All I can do is encourage you to just look and say, how have I been prioritizing? Have I had a structure? Have I had a framework? Have I had ideas about what's important to me in the world? And I always run my decision-making through those? Because if you haven't set that up, this is the time to do that for yourself. First step, stop prioritizing easy. Just because there's something that's easy to do does not mean it must be done today. What I would rather you to do is say, I am going to prioritize things today that will make significant steps forward in my life. These are, I just say, if the opposite of stop, or sort of prioritizing easy, is to prioritize progress. Things that actually move the needle of your life forward. Things that actually contribute in ways that you find meaningful and significant and fulfilling. And you know you deserve that, but sometimes you get caught up, right? Maybe you've just been caught up in everybody else's, hot mess, and your life thus became a hot mess. It's not because you are, it's that you were just doing the easy things to please people. Because, that's easy. Oh, I'm gonna please some people today. But what we need you to do is say, what would significantly move me toward my dreams today? What 3 things must happen today that would be real movement forward? Not like little checklists. Our whole world has gotten so addicted to little tiny checklists, but they're not doing anything meaningful. They're not checking off, I'm living my life, So I want you to get back into what would really progress me today. Stop prioritizing easy, start prioritizing progress, things that matter. I want you to take on something hard every day. You do that, you'll start to find yourself getting a little more confident, a little bit more momentum, a little bit more into that space where you feel like you're doing things you were meant to do. So second thing is stop prioritizing false emergencies. Just because someone put it on your plate today does not mean you need to reply to it today, unless it again is your job in customer service to reply back within 24 hours. But that is not for everybody. We've fallen into this false collective belief that we all have to reply to the text on the second we receive it, that we got to return the call the second it came in. We don't. What I always tell people, as you know, being blessed to do what I do now, I mean, it's like tens of millions of people watch these videos and watch my work every single year now. I mean, every single week we send out 2 million emails. I mean, we talk to a lot of people. I'm out on the road, 9 months out of the year, I'm doing an event with hundreds of people traveling from dozens of countries there. I talk to a lot of people. I get a lot of feedback, and with that feedback comes a lot of requests. Brendan, could you do this for me? Brendan, could you help that? Brendan, could you endorse this? And I know you get the same thing. Could you help me? Could you do these things? I need da 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 da. And you get all of these people asking you for something. How often are you doing what they're saying and what they're asking for? The more that you're doing what the world tells you or asks of you, frankly, the sad thing is the more you lose your life. You lose yourself in it. You become a pleaser or a placater. You become a person who's just so busy all the time, you're wiped out. You know what I'm talking about. You cannot prioritize other people's emergencies. And here's what you need to do. Learn to say no. Prioritize the things that are gonna move you forward, and everything else, realize that's gotta be an initial no. And it needs to sound like this. Here's what my email literally says when I send it out to people. I say, thank you so much for your request. Really appreciate you thinking of me. However, while I recognize this is really important for you today, the reality is my plate has already been full and is packed with things that I have planned and prioritized months and months and months ago. I'm executing against a plan that has been in the works for a very long time. So I'm sorry I can't get your sudden need fit into that. I'm happy to put you in queue, but please realize it's likely you won't be hearing from me, or I won't be able to participate that, or I won't be able to do X, Y, Z, whatever they ask me of, for several months, if at all. Now, people say, oh my gosh, that'd be hard to say. I was like, it's true. The first couple times I did that, it was difficult and it made me uncomfortable. It made me feel like, I wasn't being helpful to people. But what is helpful to people is you living your truth, is you serving your highest good in this world, not everybody's speedy, needy request. Look, when people come to me with an emergency, I'm okay going back to the days of self-reliance and saying, why is this an emergency for you all of a sudden? Did you not know this was due? And like, yeah, no, I knew it was due. Or someone will say, Brandon, I need this tomorrow. And here's what I love to say to them. I say, tomorrow. I said, tell you what, when would you need it? If you didn't get it by this certain day, that like your house would burn down, like major catastrophes, oh crap, your world's gonna fall apart. I mean, the last minute of the last moment of the real deadline. Not when would you like this, not when would you prefer this, not when would it be convenient and nice for you. When would the hit the fan if you didn't get it and people would start dying, And they'll always say, oh, well, then in that case, I really don't need it for another 2 weeks. People will always tell you they need something immediately. 1, they usually don't need it. 2, if they do need it, they should have went and got it themselves and been more prepared. 3, you owe nothing to anybody but your own health, your own family, your own major true contributions of what you are and what you want to give to the world. Everybody else is a sudden distraction. That is not gonna make me popular saying that, and I get it. But that's how you have to do it. If you really want to learn how to prioritize, you have to realize every request that comes into you is a sudden distraction. It's not on your plan. I'm not saying you can't meet it. I'm not saying you can't handle it. I'm saying don't reprioritize your life's work to handle somebody else's false emergency. What I want you to do is saying, what's important to me today? And I want you to make sure you accomplish and achieve that. And then fit in everyone else's little requests as is appropriate or needed or responsible for yourself. I know it's difficult when the kids come in and they throw off a couple hours of your day because they have this sudden need or emergency. There are real obligations and responsibilities. Please live your life and manage it responsibly, but also stop doing that little thing that everyone does, giving away all their pieces of the day to anyone who asks, and suddenly they find themselves broke with time, broke with energy, broke fulfilling everybody else, and never having lived their own life. Prioritize real deadlines, real responsibilities, real obligations, and prioritize everything else as a sudden distraction. And you will start finding yourself leaping forward. Last one's much more positive. You're like, geez, Brent, I thought you were like the positivity guy and the motivation guy, you know? Last one's a lot more easy and more palpable for you maybe, or palatable, I guess I would say. And that is start prioritizing freedom. Start prioritizing your ability to gain more emotional freedom, physical freedom, social freedom, financial freedom, time freedom. I love looking at people's actual day agenda and I say, where in here is freedom? Where is your ability to do a 20-minute meditation because it's gonna make you feel alive and back and grounded, connected? You don't have anything where you prioritize your own psychology today. Where are you thinking about your strategic plan? Where are you thinking about the vision for your life? Where are you daydreaming and napping if you need to do that? Where are you prioritizing your physical energy? Because if you can have physical freedom from fatigue, you'll accomplish a whole lot more, even if your priorities are not always in whack. Like if you absolutely have the financial, the physical freedom, I should say, to be able to just cultivate energy on choice, that comes from having prioritized health during the day. What about time freedom? I mean, I think we're all after time freedom, so where are the breaks in your day? And what are you doing with those breaks? Are you reading stupid, trashy magazines? Or are you sitting and dreaming about how you can contribute more, what your next art is, what the next major thing is that you want to give or serve or be or develop as a human? You have the ability to make your days magical. And I wish someone told me that when I was younger. They said, hey, look, you are the architect of your day. How magical do you really want it to be? Make that decision today, and you will start to experience a lot more of what we call the charged life.
And step number 8, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is organize your mind with Jay Shetty.
Now, I want you to take a moment to just jot down what are the decisions you make every morning before you've got out of bed, before you get into your commute or start your workday. Chances are you spend a lot of time thinking about what to wear, what to eat that morning. You might even think about what to eat for lunch, what to eat for dinner. You might be wondering around what movie you're gonna watch tonight, what episode of which show you're going to watch when you get back. You may even be thinking about what meeting do I have? What person do I have to connect with today? What do I even have to do today? These are very common things for a lot of us. The concept of decision fatigue teaches us that so many of us are making so many insignificant decisions in the morning that by the time we start our workday, we're already exhausted from making decisions. We overthink about the smaller things that should be easy, and now we have no energy for the bigger things that do require our attention and our awareness. I want you to create a table of decisions to make the night before and decisions to make the day of. What that's going to help you do is give you something to focus on the night before so that you can be prepared and well ahead of schedule before the next day, and be really clear about what you can only do on that day. Now, the night before, you want to be doing that either at the end of your workday or just after dinner. The reason is because at the end of your workday, you can set yourself up for success the next day. For those of you that want to leave it till after dinner, the reason why I say after is because we make better decisions when we're eaten and when we've nourished. So what we're essentially doing with decision fatigue is that we're stopping ourselves from overthinking about the smaller, irrelevant to some degree, insignificant decisions to the more significant decisions.
Discipline is your missing ingredient. You've got the heart, you've got the care, you've got the desire to serve, you know you could be doing more, you want to do it for the right reasons, you're not just here to make money, you're here to have an impact and to grow and do amazing things. You know you can do amazing things. What's missing? Discipline. There's just a lack of follow through. It's the constant start and stop and start and stop and start and stop. And for me, there's nothing more, not just frustrating, but sad than seeing somebody who's got so much talent and so much potential and so much of a heart, and just seeing them not win because they're not following through, because you're just not doing the consistent enough work that you're motivated and inspired, and then you're not anymore and nothing happens. And one of the only things that saved me, one of the only reasons why I'm here making these videos and you're watching and I've had any, success in social media is because I just was disciplined, that I just kept making videos. One of the things I love sharing is my journey of YouTube, because I was not an overnight success story. Every month almost, I'll post to my socials of how I grew month over month, year over year on YouTube. And in the first 5 years, I had 7,000 subscribers or so. So 5 years in of making content, 7,000 subscribers. A lot of you are already ahead of that. A lot of you could get there a lot faster than me. How do you keep going when you're not getting traction? When in year 1, you have 100 subscribers. I just had the discipline to keep making content, to keep following through. And 12,000 videos later, here we are. And people can get there faster. You don't have to be as slow as me. I took a long time, and I had a lot of issues. I was shy and insecure and introverted, and felt like you had to be, type A personality to win, and all of these limiting beliefs, all sorts of issues. And you can get there a lot faster than me, but it still requires a discipline to follow through and do it. And I really think it's one of the only things that saved me. I remember sitting down at a Florida outlet mall, and I was sitting there with a friend, and Nina was going shopping, and we spent half an hour at a Starbucks there while she was shopping. And he said, "I'm going to be the next Gary Vee of my industry." It was in music. "I'm going to be the next Gary Vee in music, and you're going to keep doing your thing. Like, let's keep in touch and see how we do and how we grow." And he posted, 3 or 4 years later on his Instagram, and he said, 3 or 4 years ago, I met Evan Carmichael at this outlet mall in Florida. He had our picture as the post, and I told him I was going to be the next Gary Vee for music, and he's going to keep doing his thing. And Evan went on and did his thing, and I stopped. I didn't have the success that I said I was going to have. And here's the thing: this guy has way more talent than I do, and he's super talented in music, and just better camera presence, more energy, his videos just look better, way more attention to detail. He had all of this stuff, and like a warm, amazing human who cares and wants to serve and wants to see musicians make money and turn their art into something amazing, right? Like, he had all of this stuff, all of it. The only thing he lacked was discipline, and he didn't follow through. And I see that in so many of you. You've got everything. You've got all the ingredients. It's just a lack of discipline and not making enough. It's the lack of, because you're not motivated, you stop. And lack of motivation isn't a good enough reason. You have to follow through. So how do you do it? How do you stay disciplined? How do you stay focused when you're not getting results, when you're not seeing the wins? How do you stay disciplined? Okay, so let me give you a couple things. First is having a really powerful morning routine. This is a struggle for entrepreneurs, because no matter how great a day you had yesterday, today's a new day. No matter how great today is, tomorrow's a new day. It's like you're starting over every day. You go to an event or you watch a video, get all inspired, and you expect it to last. And then tomorrow you wake up, it's like, oh, how come I don't feel the same way as I did yesterday? And then that creates this cycle of procrastination instead of actually following through. So the morning routine really matters. What is it that gets you feel inspired, motivated, creative, ready to go, so that you go off and have a much better day? For me, two of the things that I find the most valuable are in my morning routine. One is music. So I put on music right away. It's the fastest way to change your state. Put on songs that make you move, that make you dance, that make you want to just change your state, because you wake up tired and no energy. Like, let's go. We got to demand excellence from ourselves. And so music is the fastest way to get your body into a different state. And the second in my morning routine is to do a believe walk. And that's 20 minutes to an hour every day. I walk, I go to Tim Hortons, I grab a cup of coffee, and spend $2 on it. And I think about my day. How do I want my day to go? How do I want to be intentional about the day? So we're not waking up like an accident. Most people wake up like an accident, fall into their day, look at other people, you load your phone, right? Other people's agenda for your time, and then you don't follow through. And so having that as part of my morning routine really helps me. So what is your morning routine? The most important thing that you need to do is the thing that makes you feel important, vibrant, that today's gonna matter. Put that into your morning routine instead of hoping that it happens. That's why I make so many videos too. There's content for you every day. If you need me in your life or you need the people that I profile in your life, there's something every single day for you across my channels. So there's no excuse for you not to get the inspiration and the motivation and the tactics that you need to make your dreams happen. So that's step number one, is have a powerful morning routine. Step number two is create a calendar. You know, what's in your calendar? I'm making videos today because it's in my calendar. Today's a Tuesday when I'm recording this, and Tuesday is my YouTube day. There's a lot of stuff happening in my life. There's a lot of stuff happening in my business. Right now we're at my wife's parents' house, and they're delivering a couch. Maybe I can see that. They're delivering a couch here. So delivering a couch, and they're helping. I'm here making content because Tuesday is my YouTube day. You know, there's so many other things I could be doing right now. If I was left to my own devices, I'd say I have something more important to do. I need to be doing X. But because this has been scheduled in my calendar, I'm going to follow through and make videos. How have I made 12,000 videos? Because it's in my calendar. It's been in my calendar for years to make videos. So create a calendar, especially for the things that you need to do that you're afraid to do. I'm still afraid to make videos, guys. Again, 12,000 videos later, I'm still afraid to make videos. Why? Because I want these videos to be the best I've ever done, because I want to show up with more care, more heart, more passion. I hope that this is a video that forces you, to take some kind of action. I want it to be the best one that I've done. And so I mini procrastinate before making videos on a Tuesday. Every week I have a mini procrastination. The only difference is my procrastination is, 10 minutes instead of days, 10 days, and then it doesn't happen, right? And so whatever you are procrastinating on that is important, that you're just afraid of, you put it in your calendar and you block off time. And that allows you the creativity and the space and suffocates the excuses for you not to follow through. And then step number three. So one, have a morning routine, right? That sets you up, that gets you inspired, makes you feel like you're important and today's gonna matter. Two, you create a schedule for when you're going to do the things, especially the scary things on your list. And then three, you have to teach yourself that you do the things that are in your calendar. You said you're going to do it, you put it in your calendar, you get it done. Even if you're tired, even if you feel overwhelmed, you can change your calendar for tomorrow, or you can change your calendar for next week. But don't trust yourself or listen to yourself when you're feeling low, when you're feeling overwhelmed, and you said you were going to do it. You have to go off and do it to teach yourself. Because what happens is the next time you say you're going to do something, you put in your calendar, you don't trust that you're going to follow through because you haven't followed through the last 20 times. So be very careful about what you put into your calendar. And then when it's in there, you have to go off and do it. Make those three changes in your life. Morning routine, create a schedule, do what's in your schedule. The only thing you're missing is discipline. Again, you've got the heart, you've got the creativity, you've got the passion, you've got the willingness to serve. You can do more. You want to create an amazing life for yourself, your family, the people around you. Like, you've got this thing. You've got this thing. I don't need to tell you this. You know that you've got something amazing inside you. And yet it's not happening consistently enough. You have to stop jumping from high to high to high and wondering why you don't feel motivated today. There's nothing wrong with you. This is normal. Discipline. Put it into your life and watch your entire life change. Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video because you are awesome. If you want to apply the high five habit with Mel Robbins, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
I hope your business goes bankrupt, Evan. Evan, you're a terrible person. I spent the first 40 some years of my life trying to be somebody else. I'll give you guys a secret way